about the Prince of Wales. He's told Sky News that the world's failure to act on climate change is one of the root causes of the current refugee crisis and the horrors in Syria. Let's talk about it in more detail. Tim Marshall, author of a book called Prisoners of Geography, which discusses the links between a country's geography and its politics, joins us now. Hi, good to see you, Tim. Is he right?
He's partially right. The mistake Prince Charles made, I feel, was to put too much emphasis on this particular subject of Syria. I mean, the words he used from memory were, it is a major cause of the Syrian civil war and consequently the refugee flow. It's not a major cause. It is a contributing factor. Between 2006 and 2010, there was a drought, a very severe drought.
Which is what he talked about.
Yes, in Syria. This did cause a movement to the cities, at least 1 million people. It did exacerbate the already problems of poverty and other things. But to say that is a major cause of what then happened in the light of Iraq and Libya and Egypt and Tunisia, I just think he's way overstated the case. But on a broad brush, he's right. Things like drought push people's move, and that causes displacement. So, he knew what he was doing with his timing. He's doing it, a couple of weeks ahead of the climate conference in Paris.
Exactly.
He's got a headline, we're talking about it, but he did overstate the case when it comes to Syria.
Are there geographical examples where he could be right?
Many. A recent one, been in the news, it's died down now, Darfur, the Fur people from the land of Dar, the Darfur people in Sudan. Part of that problem is the desertification of their area, where the Sahara has come down 60 miles. The sand has moved because of the drought and the winds and all the rest of it. And that has caused tension between the people that then have to move to forage and the people that then stay in one place, and they have battled. And that was a significant contributing factor to the Darfur crisis. But there are many, and it's always been that way. People move if there's no water around. Like I said, he's overstated it on that one. Darfur is a classic example. There are many other examples all over the world, and there are future examples probably going to arrive. For example, the Euphrates River in the Middle East comes out of Turkey and then down into Syria and Iraq. If Turkey began to run out of water, it might decide to dam it. That would be almost like a tantamount to an act of war for the two countries downstream, because it would cut off their lifeblood. So you can see climate change is having an effect on politics, does and will. Climate always has.
I was going to say, 'twas ever thus, though?
'Twas ever thus throughout history, indeed. I mean, read the Bible, and there's movements of peoples because of plagues of this, that, and the others. Like I said, he overstated it on that. Charlotte Church was going on about this.
And she was heavily ridiculed.
She was, and that was a bit unfair. She went on Question Time and she said it was a factor in the Syrian civil war, and it was a minor factor. Look, the Syrian civil war, do you really think, because the years of dictatorship, brutality, torture, poverty, in the light of what had then happened, in the light of the fact that there were various groups waiting for the opportunity to overthrow the government, climate change was only peripheral, but she was ridiculed and it was slightly unfair. The background is Columbia University, a report out this year, 2015 March. But I wrote down, here's the nuance. We are not saying drought caused the war. We are saying in Syria, we are saying it added to all the other stresses. So all you have to do is choose your language carefully, say it is a contributing factor, make your point about climate change ahead of Paris, but just don't go over the top and say it's a major cause, because it isn't.
But on a wider level, the book that is out this year, yours, Prisoners of Geography, that illustrates how where a country is, where their borders are, where the challenges are, can lead directly to war.
Very much so. I mean, thank you for bringing it up. I mean, we're getting off drought, in fact, spinning it round. The classic example is Russia. Their ports freeze 5 months a year up in the Arctic. They only have one warm water port. It's in Sebastopol in Crimea. So when Ukraine flips into the Western sphere of influence, Putin invades Crimea to get that port. It also explains, because of the geographic location of Russia, if they've got another little port in Tartus in Syria, they want to hang on to that at all costs. So geography partially explains the relationship between Putin and Assad and why Russia has stood up for Assad and wants to prop him up. So, yeah, geography is really, really important. It is absolutely an issue worth discussing. Prince Charles has got it into their headlines 2 weeks ahead of the climate control conference. The only little caveat is he went a little bit too far with his language. In essence, the thrust of what he's saying is correct.
OK. Tim, thank you very much indeed. Good to see you.